Hello everyone, nice to meet you. Today we will talk about the grammar teaching and you will deeply think about the grammar teaching with me. So I hope we can share lots of brilliant ideas and to teach and learn grammar. So grammar come again in another way. This is today's title. I am ELT consultant Sylvia Cho. Now look at this, the contents. There are contents I'd like to talk about today. We are looking through the grammar presentation techniques, and you might find what kinds of techniques you have used so far in your classroom, and you will have ideas that what you will use later among these techniques. And then we will see the grammar activities. So you will find out what kinds of activities you will use. And I will suggest grammar cue games. So you can get these kinds of grammar cue games and the supplies from the Inwa. So Inwa help you to find out the teacher's resource for the grammar cue. And the art and craft, you can use, I can suggest the art and craft for teaching and in English teaching. So you will get some ideas for your students. So let's begin with grammar presentation techniques for teachers. All right, before starting, I have several questions for you. Okay, now I'm asking you, when did you start learning grammar? Do you remember that? I can see the chat. Yes, so you can type it if you want to answer. When did you start learning grammar? No one? No one answer? Okay. I started learning grammar. I remember that when I was in middle school. That time I remember the learning about the name of the grammar was from 6. Really? The 6-year-old? Yes, very early. For me it was middle school, grade 3rd. Oh yeah, 3rd grade. Yes, very good. For me, the learning about the name of the grammar was very difficult, like noun, pronoun, subject, and verb. What are those? And I was very hard to understand that. Understanding the name of the grammar. So when I became a teacher, I decided that learning of the rules of the grammar was more important than just learning about and knowing about the name of the grammar. So maybe, how did you learn grammar? Yes, I want to ask about this. Yes, what I explained that, how did you learn grammar? In my case, I learned the name of the grammar first, then my teacher explained later. Yeah, that process I learned the grammar. What about you? I cannot read the Chinese, I'm sorry, but can you type it in English if you can? How did you learn grammar? The last question, what's your plan for teaching grammar? Yes, do you have a special plan for teaching grammar? Anyone? I hope you can have some plan and ideas from me today, and we can get some ideas for teaching grammar today. Yeah, that's our ultimate goal for today. Okay. All right, learning grammar. Think about the learning grammar. With very young children, initial learning of a grammar pattern is implicit. It means that they learn grammar in chunks or the language in songs, rhymes, and story to develop the sense of language. Then they began to transfer the chunks using very creative in new context. For example, If they have learned, may I go to somewhere, may I go to, and they can apply in a real situation. For example, for their friend's house, may I go to my friend's house, or may I go to the toilet? These kinds of parent they will have. So it depends on the student's level. Around the age to 10, yes. So some of you answered that yes, age of 10, right? They're starting the learning grammar, and they realize that what the grammar is and what the English works, how the English works. After that, to develop the language awareness, learners might need a lot of practices to applying grammar that they have learned. Okay, so to build up the learner's understanding of language meaning and developing language use, developing the children's interest, yes, and curiosity, fun in class is very important. Yes, so one explicit way of learning grammar is comparing and contrasting in their language. They will start learning grammar, comparing, contrasting Chinese and English. Yes. Also, they might easily understand and try apply the grammatical rules like a logical puzzle. They understand, oh, the grammar is like a puzzle or rules. The English has some rules. Yes, they realize it. It's starting the grammar. So to have, they're starting, it has a rules and it is a puzzle. So they will involve in active participation. So how English works, thinking is very important as a grammar starting. Okay, now we will look through the grammar presentation techniques. So I will suggest the several grammar presentation techniques. So think about that, how many techniques you have already used in your classroom. And you can count that. Or you can have some plan that what kinds of techniques you will use to teach grammar. The first one, what can you see? Yes, using a song text. These are Three Little Kittens. Do you know the song? Yes, this is funny song. And look at this naughty, naughty kitties. Yes, it's like this. Three little kittens, they lost their mitten and they began to cry. What lost your mitten, you naughty kitten? Then you shall have no pie. They found their mitten and they began to smile. Put on your mitten, you silly kittens. You shall have some pie. Yes, can you see? Yes, prue, prue, prue. Oh, let us have some pie. Using a song test, the students can learn a grammar as well. Look at this, the kittens, mittens. In here, they will learn the plural. And the some pie and lost, began, lost, found. This is past tense, yes. And shall have modal verb, and let us have causative sentence. Yes, very cute song. This is a cute song. Yes, so in here, from the song text, they can learn a grammar. So you can use the song text if you want to teach them. All right, using a timeline. This is the using a timeline, the second one. Yes, do you use the timeline for teach grammar? Actually, usually the grammar books has the timeline for the students. So you can draw the timeline on the whiteboard or the blackboard. So your students can understand the time and what's the specific times you will teach in the classroom. So maybe lots of teachers using our timeline for teaching grammar, especially the tense like present and past and present perfect, yeah, future perfect, like this. All right, the next technique is using realia. Yes, what's the realia? Do you have any ideas? Realia? Realia means the real life facts and the material used in teaching. For example, like this cup and water, yes, the real stuff. It's called realia. So you can bring the realia from in your real life and you can explain for the grammar. For example, you can bring the 2 cups of juice and you say, oh, which one is sweeter, you think? Yes, they can comparing the sentences. Also, the next one, the socks, dirty socks, dirtier. Yes, they can learn. More clean, the clean socks like this. So they will learn from the realia, the grammar. So do you use the realia in your classroom? Okay. Next one, in reading. So through the reading, the students can learn grammar in natural way. So what do you use for the grammar in reading? Yes, very good. You can answer me. Yes, thank you. All right, look at this. This is a magazine like Buzzing Bees. And yes, this is a newspaper for the kids. Yes, so the reading can be used for grammar teaching as well. But in the real life, the reading has a weak point because they are too specific information students will focus on. Yes, so teacher, when the teacher used these kinds of a real life the reading, so they have to emphasize that what the grammar point today is. Yes, do you usually use it in this way? So in grammar book, using the passage and reading like this, so they have to fill it out reading what's the correct words, and the students can focus on, yes, we read every day. Very good. The reading is very important to learn a language in new way. Yes. So this is an example of the grammar cue. Okay, very good. All right, the 5th one, personalizing. Yes, what's the personalizing? Personalizing process. Yes, in grammar, as a grammar presentation technique, there is a personalizing process. Personalizing process helps the students have long-term memory. Yes, so think about what kinds of techniques are good for their long-term memory. You want to make your students remember what you taught in your classroom very, very long, right? So personalizing process make your students remember what they learn very in long way. Like this. This is an example from the Grammar Q teaching resources. You can get these teaching resources from Inghua. Am I correct? Yes, Inghua, yes. So this is who is your favorite movie star? Yes, they are very interested in. So students will answer about the movie star who they like, and like they can draw the picture and they can explain that. And you have to make sure that using the target grammar, as you can see, describe him, her using adjectives. Maybe in this time, they're learning about the adjectives in the classroom. So personalizing process is very important, I think. So I usually try to help them to personalize what they learn. So do you use the personalizing process? I want to hear. Yes. Okay. So let's move on. The next one. Yes, very good. So explaining directly. So the direct way is not implicit way, but the, explaining directly is sometimes very necessary. because it has a grammar point, and they will realize that when they use this the for a specific thing or the one thing. So usually the teacher use explaining directly for short-term memory. Can you mute for me? Yes. So the teacher usually use the explaining directly for time management. Yes, time management. For time management, explaining directly is very good way. But sometimes it can be the short-term memory. So teachers should give learners lots of practices to make a long-term memory. So you can have you can realize that some techniques are very good for long-term memory and what's good for time management. So you can make your own plan. Okay. The next one, number 7, practicing and presenting. So in practicing and presenting, the teacher gives out the table like this. Yes, you can draw the table on the whiteboard and asking the learners to work in pairs and to ask and answer the questions. So students should be familiar with these words. Before starting this activity, you have to make sure that they knows all these words like swim well, jump high, like sing, dance, and fly a kite, paint like this. And then, so teacher gives some example as an individual learners. So you can ask one of your students and call her or his name, and then, can you swim well? Or can you jump high? Yes, so your students will answer that, yes, I can. No, no, I can't, like this. After that, you can give your students have a chance to practicing with their partner. Yes, and their partner, they will ask each other, can you dance? Can you fly a kite? Like this. So they will hear what their partner says. And after that, you can ask your students, Michael, what is your partner says? Your partner can dance? You can ask them. So yes, he can. No, he can't, like this. All these kinds of practice and presenting, then you can present this form, like helping verb. And then when you ask your friends can do, helping verb can first, then subject, and then base form verb. So you can explain that this is helping verb questions like this. So practice first and then presenting process. So do you usually use in this way? Actually, in explaining directly is opposite way. It's the number 6, as I explained that is showing about the directly way, the grammar, and then practicing, right? But this is, yes, opposite way. Practicing first, and then they realize that the grammar parent. Very good. Okay, the next one is discovering. Yes, discovering is about the grammatically correct and incorrect make a circle first. So ask your students that answer these A to E and make a circle for the sentences, each sentences. Sometimes ask the keys, the sum up the grammar. Oh, very good. Yes, you are asking the keys to sum up the grammar. Yes, I think that's very good way. We will explain that the detective game, it is kinds of this kinds of an activity. Very good. It is implicit way of teaching grammar. Very good. Okay, now look at this in here. He have walked very long distances. Is this correct or incorrect? Yes, incorrect. Why? He Has. It should be has, right? So students can answer like this. So they can do themselves like individually, or they can do as a group work. Okay. And then you can draw these kinds of following chart on the board to show these given this in here. Like in subject, you can explain that I, you, we, they, have and has. Students choose, and rest of sentences they will use. So students will realize in implicit way the grammar. It's like this. So this covering is kind of a pretty similar way. All right, now next one is using a chart. Yes, in here, the question is, how does your friend look today? So using a survey, so you need some time. So if you have some rest of the time after the teaching grammar, so using these kinds of activities. So look around and check this, yes, for your students. Or you can write down the name in here, 1, 2, instead of the number, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So write the name and check it. Or you can change to the question, find your students who are doing something, who has something, anything that you want to ask as a survey. So survey will be have fun for your students. So do you usually use a survey in your classroom? Yes? Using a chart? Okay, the next one is the number 10, eliciting. Yes. So when you meet your students, you can explain your daily routine. So I write, I get up, get out of bed at 7 usually, and I have breakfast around 8, and I brush my teeth and wash my face. I dress myself and get to school at 8:30, like this. So teachers tell students teachers' daily routine. Then ask about the students' daily routine. Okay, and when you're talking about, oh yes, we use the grammar chart and mind map. Oh, very good. I will talk about the mind map as well later. It's very good. So after writing your daily routine that you are talking about the student's daily routine, you said you have to change the verb form. So he gets out and he has breakfast, she brushes and she dresses. Or we got out, get out, and they have breakfast, like this. So you can see, you can show them how the grammar in the verb will be different from the subject. But in this process, ask your students lots of questions. Yes, it's like this. What about you? I can hear noises. So can you mute for me? Yes. So your student, you can ask us lots of questions. What about your partner? What about your friends? And your students can explain about their friends. He brushes his teeth around 9. 9, isn't it late? So you can ask lots of questions to your students. So when they're using this target grammar, if they are incorrect, try to help them in correct way grammar. Can you mute? Lily? Can you wait for me? I can hear some voices, so I can make mute. Yes, I can make it mute or participant. Yes, I made a mute. Can you hear my voice? Yes, you can hear my voice, right? Yes, I made a mute for all the participants. All right. Now, so we looked through the grammar presentation techniques. So the first one, using a song text and timeline. Can hear you now, yes. A picture and reality. So what things you will use in your classroom, think about it. And in reading, yes, natural reading like a magazine or the reading you can use. The personalizing process, ask your students to apply in their situation or in their thinking and ask their opinion, like a favorite movie star and describing, like this kinds of personalizing process. And explaining directly, this is good for time management, yes. And practicing and presenting and showing practice first and then realize, as you said, to sum up the grammar. Very good. And discover, they realize what's the grammar rule. And using a chart like a survey and eliciting to your students. And while they're talking, they realize that what the grammar rule is, eliciting. And comparing first language and second language. Maybe you use this comparing, especially for us very difficult grammar concepts, needs to comparing first language and second language to have some concepts in their brain to help your students understand. So, how many of them have you used so far? Do you usually use all these? Yes. So what's your plan for your, yes, oh, very good. So think about that, what kinds of techniques you will use later more. Yes. Okay. Now let's move on. The grammar activities. Yes, as you said, I remember that some of you answered that you're using this web. Very good. Web is very good for long-term memory as well, because while they're drawing the web and thinking about expanding the thinking, they have a long-term memory. So as a first step, they will learn about the noun, what the noun is. So before you're explaining what the noun is, you can ask about the students drawing a web, like a person, yes, and thing, and animal, and place. So they will have some concepts what the noun is. So can you answer me? What about person and places, thing, animal, anything? Do you remember the noun? I will show you. Yes, like this. Boy, girl, baby, and teacher, person. And place, hospital, school, house, park, like this. And things like computer, the animals for the bird. So ask your students to fill out and come out and fill out. This kind of drawing a web will help your students have a concept of noun, and they will never forget what they are writing on the board. Okay, after learning about the noun, the teacher will usually teach about the article and the plural. This is kind of just natural process, right? So the students will realize that the plural is article, all and on is different. Like I usually use this kind of stick, and on for like the on means when do you use on? Yes, A, E, I, O, U, the vowels needs on, right? So like a ball, but on orange, like this, right? So you can use any kinds of a word card if you have, like a pen, What do you need? A pen, like this. What about hand? A hand, right? What about elephant? Yes, an elephant. So visualized learners will helpful for these kinds of sticks, and the card will be helpful. And I made a plural card like this. Apple and apples, like this. Apple, apples. But in here, orange, one orange. Yes. Oranges, yes, orange, oranges. So you can, yes, very repeatedly explain that and have your students have a chance to talk about the plurals several times, right? And then this is a clap. Like if you want to use a clap game, like all for one clap, on for two claps, like this. So, pen, student, shoe, one clap. What about elephant? One or two? Two claps, like this. Yes, you can use for the plural as well, like apple, apple, one clap for S, and oranges for two claps. Yes, ES. So you can explain that when they use for and on and as for ES. So I usually use these kinds of sticks to show them the visualized. They can high five like this. Yes, high five with you. So you can change these kinds of a game to make your students fun and easily learn. To explain for the plural, like S and ES, I made this kinds of a card. So this is one sock, but you need two socks. So you need socks, S. Yes. And the second one, there is a tree, one tree, but I want 1, 2, 3 trees. Yes, but look at here. There is a one dish. What about this? Yes, this is ES. For here, the last one. Here is a brush and brushes, like this. So this is very simple to make it. So you can print out the one picture and then print and cut these kinds of, and you can laminate it like this. Yes, so make a plural like this. Yes, so you can use these kinds of card to your students to make visualize. Okay, now let's move on. After learning about these kinds of plural and all and on article, so students will learning about these, that, and these and those. So I usually use these kinds of cup to close, and one of the cups will be the far from your students, and they can throw the ball and they say with the cart like this, the bus, yes, yes, this bus, but it's far, like these, that bus, like this. For the plural as well, like this is a dancing shoes, so these dancing shoes, those dancing shoes, so they can they have to say the words like this using the ball. Or you can use the song like this, like this and that, 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 and these and those, 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 like this. Yes. Okay. And this is a Five Little Ducks song. This is usually used for plural and the past form, like five little ducks went out one day over the hills and far away. Mother duck called quack, 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 but only four little ducks came back. So this song will be repeated, like four little ducks went out one day over the hills and far away. Mother duck called quack, 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 but only three little ducks came back. Can you sing for me? Yes. Three little ducks went out one day over the hills and far away. Mother duck called quack, 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 but only two little ducks came back, like this. Yes. And then this is, do you like broccoli song? Do you like broccoli song usually used for present tense questions. So first time when they make a question will be very difficult for your learners. So I usually use this song like this. Do you like broccoli? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Do you like ice cream? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And put together, do you like broccoli ice cream? No, I don't. Yucky. Like this. Yes. Can you sing donuts and juice? Yes, would you like to sing with me? Do you like donuts? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Do you like juice? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Do you like donut juice? No, I don't. Yucky, like this. Yes, so from this song, so students will getting used to it, how to make a question of present tense. So they will realize that how they answer it as well, like yes I do and no I don't, as a positive form and the negative form. And three things about me. Yes, this has some process. So first, you give a sticky note or the little small piece of a paper or clip to your child, each child. And then second, ask them to draw the three small pictures to show what they like to eat. Like for example, like apples and watermelon, chicken, whatever they want to draw. The three things, okay? Because this is about three things about me. And then explain and demonstrate that the children should walk around in the classroom, look at each other's drawing and talk about what they're drawing. For example, I like apples. What about you? I like apples. Do you? And students should say, no, I don't. I like ice cream, like this. At the end, ask your students to stand next to the person they've talked to, who they have most in common with, okay? And they stand together, what they're common with, and then your students can say, we both like ice cream. We both like pizza, like this. So it can change to want form. So this one needs some time to do it in your classroom, so make sure that you have time for that. Okay, after learning about the noun, the students will comparing the count noun and non-count noun. So I made these kinds of a meal kit like this. So what do you like to have for your lunch, like this? Yeah. So your students should say some water. Yes, it's an non-count noun, right? And with some bread and an apple, with the article. So ask your students to come out to put it like this if you're making like this, and your students should say with a correct article and using as or some, a few, this kinds of activity will be used for from this kinds of material. Okay. All right, this is part of speech to colors. So as I said, understanding about the name of the grammar was quite difficult for your students. Yeah, magnet board. Yes, you can use the magnet board as well. I use this one. The it's called, I remember the cotton panel, right? This kinds of cotton panel use a Velcro. This is a Velcro. I put it on the Velcro to make it sticky, yeah. But if you're using the whiteboard, you need a magnetics. I put the magnetics on the back side of the card and I put like this. Yes. All right. So WH question for red, and auxiliary for orange, and subject for yellow, and verb for green, like this. So this is the order of, yeah, I see, thanks, thank you. And this is the order of the color. It's the rainbow, very good, rainbow. It's the rainbow, like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. And this is a black for question mark. So why I explain this, students will think about that. Even they don't know the order of the sentences, they will think about the color of the rainbow. Yes, it's like this. In here, I have several cards. What and where? What do you like to use? And maybe students choose what or where, like this. Where, very good. And what's the next color? And they will say orange, right? Orange. So I have in here orange, does, and do. What do you want to use? Okay. Where and do. Okay, I will use do. Where, do. What's the next color? Orange. Next, yellow. Yes, you and he. I have do you or do he, like this. So where to you, where to you. Okay. Where do you write or where do you leave? Yes, where do you leave, like this. So you can use these kinds of a part of speech. Two colors will make your students have a plan to order of the color of the rainbow. Yes, where do you leave, like this. And this is analogy and metaphor. Analogy and metaphor helps the students to remember and practicing grammar rules more effectively. I use the horse and cart to explain this. Look at this. Everyone, I have sentences. He is drinking water. So they are learning about the process, the progress of a present tense. And you can explain that auxiliary verb is a horse. Then when you put as a negative, he is not drinking water. Not is a cart. So I want to put together like isn't. So you can erase it and isn't. Like this, put the horse and cart together. Is not and isn't. is not, and isn't. Yes, like this. So this kind of process will help you to remember that where they should put the not in the sentences. And you can ask your students to make a question like this. How can you make a question? I want to put the question mark in here. Where this horse goes? Yes, in front of the sentences. Yes, so is he drinking water? Like this, okay? Yes, this is explaining about the auxiliary verb as of horse and is not a cart, put together contraction form, isn't, and is making a question, moving the horse, is he drinking water? Yes, as a capitalized. And when they answer, yes, he is, no, he is not, horse and cart together, isn't, and isn't he drinking water? Yes, this is a question like this. So as I explained, this part of speech to colors and this horse and cart analogy metaphor can be used together like this. What is the cat doing? Yes. So yes, it's so practical. So the color, the order of the rainbow, and using the horse together. So it's up to you that make your students to easy to understand. All right, so this is a mind the grammar when you're using learning about the process, yes, progress. So you can ask your students to come out, and one of your students come, and this your other students doing some motion like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Like this. So your students will say, you are dancing, you're cooking. So they will answer. So they will have the chance using the target grammar. Okay, follow up me. This is used for your students, the past form. So ask your students bring their picture when they were young, yes, or when they were baby. Yes, so ask about your students that, oh, who is this and how does he look like? And your students will answer that using the past form. Like, my favorite toy was a sheep, and I was fat, I had curly hair, and I liked milk, like this. So ask your students to bring the photo to classroom. It will be a lot of fun. Okay, supportive framework. This is using the framework, and your students will have the chance to repeat the sentences again. As a group work, ask your students to come out, one of your students in the group. And the A group, the one students, B group, and C group, and one of their students come out, and they say like this, I have been to China. And the next person should say, repeat what the previous one talked. Lisa has been to China, and I have been to Japan. And the next person should remember what the previous people talk about. It's like this. Lisa has been to China, and Bob has been to Japan, and I have been to Jeju Island, like this. So if you are students that struggle to answer it, or saying these kinds of activity, they can help. They can ask, help me to their group, in their group. So it will be a fun. Yes, this is a good warm-up too. Very good. All right, grammar detective. We are talking about the illicit way of learning grammar in grammar teaching techniques, right? So ask your students that to be a grammar detective. Today, you are a grammar detective, like this, the magnifying the classes. Yes, you are a grammar detective. Here is a eat, and there is a eating. So you each word should be find out like this ing form. But some like seat need the double T and cut for the double T like this. So you are the grammar detective. Can you find out when you use the double T for the words? So your students will think about that. Sometimes it will be very difficult to answer because they don't know about the grammar. So you can have enough time to think about that with your students. This is consonant, vowel, and consonant word need another consonant one more time. So you can explain in that way later. Yes, because they are grammar detectives, so they will have a chance. Usually the words has ing form, just ing form, but some words need a double word. Okay, this is a survey what I talked about, yes. So in here, when you're talking about the present tense, ask to your students, when you ask your students needs a present tense using an as, like reads, has, plays, has, goes, and watches. And ask your students to raise up their hands or walk around to find a student's name in here. So using a survey if you have time for that. Okay, sentence round. Sentence round is I usually use for review or repeat the sentences again or to have fun. Yes, I made a bomb like this. Yes, and I set the alarm like 20 or 20 to 40 seconds. And when they say the words or sentences, they have to change to move this bomb to the next person. So it's called the sentence round. Yeah, very interesting. So many styles. Thank you. So TikToking will make your students very nervous. Yes, and fun as well. So they thinking about the time and they have to say some target grammar like I woke up at 7 and next person I woke up at 9 and I woke up at 10 and somewhere the bomb will make it boom again in 20 seconds or 40 seconds. So you are the winner, you will say. Yes, the sentence round will go for your vocabulary as well. Yes, so you try to use this kinds of game. It will be fun. Okay, agree and disagree. This is checking the personal opinion. This is a personalizing process. 5 for strongly agree, 4 for agree, and 3 for don't agree and disagree, and 2 for don't agree, and 1 for disagree strongly. Okay, so ask about the children's opinion. First, number 1, children should go to bed before 10 o'clock. Yes, what do you think? Your students check. Yes, so your students will check each other's opinion and they can explain what's their opinion. So in here, they're learning about the modal verb should. Yes, should. They should read one book every week. Yes, so maybe some of your students check it, disagree strongly like this. So personalized process will help your students have a long-term memory. Okay, now let's look through that. What the grammar Q has. Grammar Q has this kinds of a very interesting game, like using the dice. Yes, using the dice. But when I use these kinds of dice, I need enough time. So make sure that you have enough time to do this. And yes or no? Yes. Do you like broccoli? Yes, I do like this. So he's a student. Yes, he is. They're firefighters. No, they're not. They're in armies. And there are lilies. No, roses. It isn't sad. Yes. Yes, it is like this. Also, this is a little bit of a personalizing because they can make the sentences in creative way. Like they're checking the coloring, the blue for a proper noun, yellow for common noun, and green for abstract noun. And then they can make their own sentences like Jenny has rose, or rose means beauty, like this. So these kinds of activity you can have as a teaching resources of Grammar Q. So Ingwo will help you to get these kinds of teaching resources. Okay, this is a personalized as well. Like summer vacation, they can explain what did you eat, what I had, and what did you do, how was it. And so they will have writing to using the target grammar. But make sure that your students not focus on too much writing, because learning about the grammar is more important in grammar learning classes. So ask your students to ask each other what they are writing, and make sure that your students use target grammar incorrectly. Okay, this is the last part, art and craft today. This will be used for your teaching language, the second language. The teachers usually use these kinds of spinner or wheels. So you can make it simply. I put a long board on the back and I use the pin to make a wheel like this. So students come out and they will wheel this wheel, then they will answer. So you can use for vocabulary like color or the question, WH question. So this is a singer. So who is she? And your students will say she is a singer. And what is she's doing? Yes, she's singing a song like this. So try use these kinds of spinner to teach your students the grammar. Make a dice. This is a cotton panel, and I put Velcro on the back side of the laminated print. And then I put like this, so students will throw these kinds of dice and they can answer about these kinds of animal or the numbers, anything that to use the target grammar. Also you can add, they're talking about the panda, where does he live, like this. So you can use that for a question or the sentences, and some tense for using these kinds of dice. And this is a snapdragon. It's called a fortune teller as well. You can, I put this, how to make it. This is rectangle, so you have to make a square first and then fold it to make it. And then write down like north, east, west, and south, and several words you want to say in target grammar, okay? And then make like this. And ask your students, oh, where do you want to go and how many times? And your students will say, east 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and east, 4 and east. Yes, in here, there is a sentence is what I wrote. You will be very busy, yes, in next year. So learning about the future tense, you can use these kinds of snapdragon for your students. Or you can write down any sentences in any tense to use these kinds of snapdragon as well. Okay, this is the last one I suggested to you today. This is how to make a book, the little book. Yes. This is a paper like this. Yes. And you fold it first like this. And fold the three parts. 1, 2, 3 first. And cut in the middle. Yes. You fold like this and cut it in here. And then you can make a book like this. So students will have 1, 2, 3, yes, pages of the book. And this book will be summarized for what they learned, grammar points today, or what I will do today, the future form, or what's my plan for summer vacation. I'm going to have something. Yes, I'm going to go to Europe like this, so they can write down any target grammar you are talking about today. So this little book usually used for summarizing the storytelling or this kinds of grammar or writing and reading as well. So it will be helpful, the art and craft in using the classroom. Okay, that's all I prepared for you. So I hope you got some ideas for from me and to teach the yeah, I like this flapbook. Yeah, using this flapbook. This is very simple and useful, and your students will like to make it. Yes. All right. So do you have any questions? Yes, thank you. I uh, I actually doesn't remember the Three Little Kittens very well, so I can hear Three Little Kittens one more time. Proo, 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 proo. Yes, like this. Three Little Kittens, yes.
Three little kittens, they lost their mittens and they began to cry. Oh, mother dear, we sadly fear our mittens we have lost.
What? Lost your mittens? You naughty kittens. You shall have no pie.
Yes, now I remember it. I'm very sorry that because when I explained this, I didn't remember the song well. Three little kittens, they lost their mitten and they began to cry. What? Lost your mittens, you naughty kittens, then you shall have no pie. The three little kittens, they found their mittens and they began to smile. Put on your mittens, you silly kitten, you shall have some pie. Prue, 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 oh let us have some pie. I'm really sorry that I didn't remember this song well. Okay, I hope you have a great time to teach grammar as well. Yes, teacher, my question is so many stuff that if we to do that will take us a lot of time. Is there any? My question is so many stuff.
제가 중고를 하러 얘기할까요?
네, will take us a lot of time. It means that you want to meet me? Yes? Okay, thanks a lot. I had a very good time today as well.
첫 번째 질문이 잘 이해 안 되신 거죠? 영어가 좀 그래서
네.
물어볼게요.
네. Yeah, could you please share more details about the materials you did? Okay, what kinds of materials exactly do you want to see one more time? I share this pinwheel, yes, the wheel, I share this wheel, and or the dice, and I share bum, yes, bum like this. You can use any bottle of like the shape of the wheel. Okay. Okay. Wait a minute. Cooking blender. Yeah, making this teacher stuff will take us a lot of time. Yes, I know. For me, I made this one about 30 minutes to or the 1 hour or less than 1 hour. But if you make a once, you will use so many times. So, yes, so don't be regret that. Make it, okay? So this is a cotton flannel. It's called the cotton flannel, and I put the pins in here. And I try to make a wheel like this. And I can always, using the Velcro on the back side of the laminated and put it and take out. Yes, so you can use any card, any different cards for it. Yes, so art and craft, as I show you, you can use in all different way. So any cards you can put it, or any pictures you can use for this kinds of a material. Okay. Anything? Okay. Can I finish now? All right. We had a lot of time to think. Yes. Okay. Thank you. All right. I hope to see you again soon. All right. Think hello, everyone. Bye-bye.